After yesterday's humiliating, tearful PMQs, Number 10 are doing everything in their power to make it look like all is well. They've even wheeled out Rachel Reeves today for the launch of their 10-year NHS rebuild plan, and as you can very clearly see, they have used as much makeup and as much concealer as they can possibly find to make it look like she is a lot more well rested than she actually is. She's got her big smile on to make it look like everything's fine. Let's take a watch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be here today. Thank you, Wes, and it's great to be here today also with you, Kia. And today, of course, is the eve of the 77th birthday of our National Health Service. A service, as Wes said, that was created by a Labour government. It was protected by a Labour government in 1997, and we will now be the government that saved our National Health Service.
So as you can see, they're all big smiles, a heck of a lot of makeup, quite the turnaround from this picture that you can see here of her crying her eyes out just yesterday. And she was asked by journalists about whatever this personal matter was after that NHS rebuild due, and this is what she had to say.
Clearly I was upset yesterday, and everyone could see that. It was a personal issue, and I'm not going to go into the details of that, but my job as Chancellor at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday is to be at PMQs next to the Prime Minister supporting the government, and that's what I try to do. I guess the thing that maybe is a bit different between my job and many of your viewers is that when I'm having a tough day, it's on the telly, and most people don't have to deal with that.
That is certainly true. I mean, it's said there was an altercation between you and the Speaker, or there's also a story about potentially a conversation with someone else in the government before that happened. Is that true? No. It was a
Personal issue. I'm not going to go into the details of that. That's not that wouldn't be right or fair. People saw I was upset, but that was yesterday, and today is a new day, and I'm just cracking on with the job. And my job as Chancellor is to return the stability to the economy, bring investment into Britain, but most importantly to improve the lives of ordinary working people, which is why I'm so pleased that in this first year interest rates have come down 4 times, saving money for people with mortgages. I've been the Chancellor who's increased the national living wage, giving 3 million workers a pay rise, and we're rolling out free breakfast clubs for all children at primary schools and free school meals for children whose parents are on universal credit to help people with the cost of living. So I'm proud of what we've done this last year, but is there more to do as a government? Absolutely there is, and I'm going to get on with that job.
So there we go, and I think you can see in that close-up there that is a lot better makeup than she normally does herself. So they definitely paid for someone to, brush her up best they could today to make it look like nothing is wrong, to try and stop the markets from crashing anymore. No acknowledgement from Rachel Reeves there whatsoever about the crazy market turmoil that she caused. Just like, oh, it was just a little cry because of a personal matter. I didn't make any mistake by not excusing myself, so there wouldn't be all of this speculation. Keir Starmer didn't make any mistake by failing to guarantee my position when asked by Kemi Badenoch. Regardless of how upset Rachel was, he could have guaranteed her position and answered Kemi Badenoch's question directly. The markets were tanking because of this speculation of Rachel Reeves potentially being fired because Keir Starmer failed to guarantee her position, and her crying certainly did not help that. Okay, it took 2 of them to cause this absolute market meltdown. No accountability or sorry from them whatsoever. Keir Starmer yesterday, when he saw those markets tanking, was quick to try and get out on a media round to, of course, act like everything is fine and tell us all that the Chancellor is doing a great job. Let's listen to him on Radio 4 yesterday.
She's made it clear it's a personal matter, and I'm not going to go into the personal matter of a colleague. What I will say is that she's done an excellent job as Chancellor. We have delivered inward investment to this country in record numbers, £120 billion. That'll be measured in jobs. We've created conditions for wages to go up, and we've jointly worked on the spending review, which is very broadly popular. She's done a fantastic job. She and I work together, we think together, and in the past there have been examples, I won't give any specific, of chancellors and prime ministers who weren't sort of in lockstep. We're in lockstep.
People assumed it was because of politics. She decided to quit, or you'd said to her, Rachel, I'm sorry.
Look, firstly, Nick, is
that wrong?
It's wrong. I can just tell you that. That's absolutely wrong.
So there we go, Keir Starmer pretending like nothing is wrong at all. It was merely a personal matter, completely failing to take any responsibility whatsoever for the fact that he, when he answered Kemi Badenoch's question, he failed to give any guarantees that Rachel Reeves will be keeping her job. He fueled the speculation that led to a market meltdown that is now sending borrowing costs absolutely surging, which affects all of us, not just if you want to borrow money, but when the government borrows money, because now Rachel Reeves needs to find more money to pay the servicing cost of our debt because of surges in borrowing costs like they have caused with that PMQs yesterday. No accountability whatsoever. Keir Starmer there giving us his cherry-picked statistics to make it sound like everything's going well in the country and the economy. He keeps on saying, and he said at this NHS launch today that we've just looked at Rachel Reeves speaking at, he has said it both times, and he said it at PMQs yesterday, we had the fastest growth in the G7 in the first quarter of this year. Okay, and everyone's thinking, well, that sounds a little bit odd because Rachel Reeves raised taxes by 40 billion in her autumn budget. Businesses are all saying they're going to shut down. Businesses are all saying they're having to lay off staff because of this huge national insurance hike. We're hearing about all these millionaires and billionaires fleeing the country because of the tax hikes and the changes to non-dom status. How on earth could we be growing the fastest in the G7? Well, I'll tell you what is going on. So our growth forecasts keep on getting downgraded for the rest of the year and coming years. We just happen to have a little bit of a blip in the first quarter of this year where we were the fastest growing in the G7 because of what was going on with Trump's tariffs. You had other countries that were expecting to be harder hit than we were, because remember, we were outside of the EU, so we got a lower tariff than other countries inside of the EU and other countries. Okay, so you had other countries struggling with all the turmoil going on before Trump's Liberation Day. We also had a little bit of a boost in exports before that Liberation Day in April when the tariffs came into force, because UK companies decided to export everything they could as quick as they could to the US before the tariffs came into effect. So hence you had a big boost in exports. But that was very short-lived, okay? There is a reason why he's only got one little statistic to refer to for the economy that makes it sound good, because all the other stats that are coming out and all of the other growth forecasts are quite frankly embarrassing and show that Labour have completely failed in the year that they have been in power. Anyway, that is the latest on the Rachel Reeves crying saga. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Reasoned if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any more videos.